Good morning. Welcome to Bible study. Today we are going to continue in Moses' story. Moses is a big character in the Bible. You'll remember we can find him in the second book of the Bible, which is in the Old Testament. And the second book of the Bible is Exodus, and it tells the story of Moses and God's people. Today, we are going to be learning about rules that God gave Moses for the people to follow. So as we think about rules, I wonder if you can think of or name some rules that you think are important. They matter. They're really helpful. Now I wonder, can you think about or name rules that are really hard to follow? They may be important, but they're still really hard. Can you think of any of those rules? As we get ready to hear the story of God giving Moses rules for God's people, including us, let's remember what we've learned so far. God was with Abraham and Sarah's family as they traveled to new places, had children and grandchildren, wronged each other, and made peace. God was with them when they made mistakes, while they worked, and when they forgave each other. Over time, their family grew so large that they became a great nation, just as God had promised. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, was afraid of the people and made them slaves. Pharaoh commanded that all the Israelite baby boys be killed. Moses' mother and sister kept him safe. God saw the suffering of the people and chose Moses to lead them out of slavery. Moses went to Pharaoh and told him to let the people go. After 10 plagues, Pharaoh said the people could leave. God parted the Red Sea so they could walk through on dry land. God provided food and water in the wilderness. Today's Bible story is God's top 10 from Exodus 19 and 20 and Deuteronomy 6. 2 months after the Israelites left Egypt, they entered the Sinai desert. They set up camp at the foot of the mountain. Moses went up the mountain to meet with the Lord God, who told him to say to the people, "You saw what I did in Egypt, and you know how I brought you here to me, just as a mighty eagle carries its young. Now, if you will faithfully obey me, you will be my very own people. The whole world is mine, but you will be my holy nation and serve me as priests." After Moses went back, he reported to the leaders what the Lord had said, and they promised, "We will do everything the Lord has commanded." So Moses told the Lord about this. The Lord said to Moses, "I will come to you in a thick cloud and let the people hear me speak to you. Then they will always trust you." Again, Moses reported to the people what the Lord had told him. God told Moses to prepare the people to see the cloud and hear God's voice. God said that the people should get themselves ready and wash their clothes. They were not allowed to touch the mountain, for they would not live if they did. After Moses went down the mountain, he gave orders for the people to wash their clothes and make themselves acceptable to worship God. On the morning of the 3rd day, there was thunder and lightning. A thick cloud covered the mountain. A loud trumpet blast was heard, and everyone in camp trembled with fear. Moses led them out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was covered with smoke because the Lord had come down in a flaming fire. Smoke poured out of the mountain just like a furnace, and the whole mountain shook. The trumpet blew louder and louder. Moses spoke, and God answered him with thunder. God told Moses to bring only Aaron with him up the mountain. Then God spoke. I am the Lord your God, the one who brought you out of Egypt, where you were slaves. Do not worship other gods. Do not make idols and bow down and worship them. Do not misuse the name of the Lord your God. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy, because the Lord made all things in 6 days, but rested on the seventh. Honor your parents, so your life may be long in the land I am giving you. Do not murder. Be faithful in marriage. Do not steal. Do not tell lies about others. Do not desire and try to take things that do not belong to you. The people trembled with fear when they heard the thunder and the trumpet, and they saw the lightning and the smoke coming from the mountain. They stood a long way off and said to Moses, "If you speak to us, we will listen, but do not let God speak to us, or we will die." "Don't be afraid," Moses replied. "God has come only to test you, so that by obeying him you won't sin." Later, Moses climbed the mountain again. God wrote the commandments on 2 stone tablets and gave them to Moses. After many years, Moses was preparing the people of Israel to enter the land of Canaan, the promised land. He shared God's commandments again. He told the Israelites that if they followed God's laws, they would do well in the land that God had promised to them. Moses said, "Listen, Israel, the Lord our God is the only true God. So love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and strength. Memorize his laws and tell them to your children over and over again. Talk about them all the time, whether you're at home or walking along the road or going to bed at night or getting up in the morning. Write down copies and tie them to your wrists and forehead to help you obey them. Write these laws on the doorframes of your homes and on your town gates." Now let's wonder about this story. First, imagine Moses walking up the mountain to go and talk to God. I wonder what Moses was thinking as he walked up the mountain. I wonder how Moses was feeling. What do you think? Now imagine what it was like to hear God speak from the mountain. I wonder what that was like for Moses. I wonder why God chose these 10 commandments, these 10 rules, as the most important ones for people to follow. I wonder how these rules helped the people. I wonder how these rules help us. Moses gave the Israelites ways to help remember God's laws. I wonder what helps you remember things that are important. As we continue to think about and learn from this story, let's look at today's picture and put it with the other pictures. Come back next week as we wrap up Moses' story.